Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. My name is Nicholas Reid from Reid Corporate and I'd like to welcome you to this special Resources Rising Stars online investor webinar with Gold Explorer Gateway Mining, that's ASX code GML. Well, it was a big end to 2021 for Gateway, with the company delivering an 87% increase in the mineral resource for its flagship Gidgee gold project, located 800 kilometres northeast of Perth in the North Murchison region of WA. On the back of that increase, which was announced just before Christmas, Gidgee now boasts a total resource of nearly 450,000 ounces of contained gold at an average grade of 1.7 grams. Importantly, the increase came in part from some exciting new discoveries which Gateway made towards the end of last year. In fact, the company has made no less than 3 shallow discoveries in the past 12 months, and with around 60,000 metres of drilling planned this year, Gateway is gearing up for what should be a transformational year of resource growth in the year ahead. To run us through the story and step us through a brand new investor presentation, we're delighted to have Gateway's Managing Director, Mark Cossom, here with us in Perth this morning. Once Mark has delivered his presentation, we'll open the floor to questions from shareholders and investors who have tuned in. A reminder to everyone listening to please use the Q&A function on your webinar browser and send your question in as Mark is presenting so that I have the opportunity to put them to him once he concludes. Well, we're all looking forward to hearing what Gateway has in store this year. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Mark Cossom to run us through the story. Please go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Nicholas, and thanks for everyone to tuning in and hear the story today and really see what we've got in store, what's going to be an exciting year for Gateway this year. Just the statutory disclaimer there. So I guess, as Nicholas mentioned, 2021 was a big year for Gateway, and really what it was consolidating a lot of work that had been done over the preceding 3 years and really establishing a solid foundation for the company, and then now we can see where we're springboarding to. So Gateway itself now, we've refined the company. It's a single project company, and it's the Gidgee Gold Project, this 1,000 kilometre squares that we've got in a key part of WA, in the historic North Murchison goldfields of WA. But now we've also established this mineral resource base of just under 450,000 ounces, and importantly, some of those ounces are indicated as well now, so not just the inferred. And that's a big growth on our maiden resource statement made back in 2019. There's a lot more to come. And Gidgee itself, previously we've put some remnant resources around some of these historic pits that were mined by Herald Resources in the 1980s and early 1990s. But as Nicholas mentioned before, a lot of this resource growth now is coming from new discoveries that we've made. And not only is that exciting for shareholders in showing the potential of the project, but it's exciting for us because it's validating the work that we're doing and showing that there's a lot of gold to be found here, and we're hoping there's a lot more to come. So we've got these new discoveries that we're working on now over the next 12 months. Again, we're staying consistent to our strategy of looking for these complementary deposits all within 5 kilometre radius of each other. And now we're moving on to these new areas that we've identified and finding new shallow ounces, oxide ounces in a lot of the cases, and just continuing to build this resource base as we work towards this 1 million ounce target that we've talked about over the last couple of years. And doing that, we've got about 60,000 metres of drilling this year plans, both aircore and RC mainly, with a bit of diamond drilling to help. We've got the cash in the bank to do it as well after our capital raising in end of last year. And we've got the team on the ground. We've been there before. We've made discoveries. We've built gold mines. We've developed companies. And that's really what we want to use to take great Gateway forward. With sort of standard corporate structure there, we can see that cash in the bank, 6.2 million at the end of the year after that capital raising in November. Importantly, when we've refined the company over the last couple of years, we divested a lot of peripheral projects, and those listed investments that we received for those projects are now worth just under $2 million. So that's important for us to have on the balance sheet as well. That market cap at the moment, really a lot of value there in the share price, considering the resource base we've got and what we've got to come. One of the big things for us is when we did that capital raising last year, but over time, we've always had the support of our major shareholders. And we can see there with Kerry Hermanis, our major shareholder, contributing to the capital raising last year, but all our top 20 shareholders have been very supportive of the strategy and continue to help us drive the company forward. Your board that we have in place, a good mix of skills to really help Gateway to move forward. Myself, a geologist, just under 25 years, worked a lot in mining and resource development as well as exploration. So my time at Dore involved in the discovery and development, construction of 2 gold mines. They're really important skills to have moving forward. And one of the other key people involved with the company is Pete Langworthy. He's a consultant to the company that we use quite regularly, and he's got a track record there of technical success and corporate success that helps us. The project itself, Gidgee, we can see there in that map. It's a dominant land position in a prime part of WA. It's a tier 1 location. WA, if you want to be a gold explorer, the goldfields of WA is where you want to be. We're right smack bang in the middle of the Murchison and northeastern goldfields. You can see there with all the West Gold and Ramilius and Mega Gold off to the west of us, and then Wiluna, Goldfields and Bellevue out to the east. We're right in the middle there, and it's a key place to be. The infrastructure's great, the endowment's there. We just got to put the meters in the ground. So last year we had strong resource growth, and that was really building on the work that had been done the last 3 years. We increased our resources at Montague Boulder, brought some of those resources into the indicated category. But not only that, we brought some new deposits into the resource inventory. So the new discovery we made at Evermore in 2020, which we put an initial inferred resource on, and also the Achilles North airport deposits, shallow oxide resources there, brand new deposits, never been mined, all within the sort of top 60 metres. Most of the resources we have on the inventory now are within the upper 100 metres, and that's important going forward. We're not talking about deep remnant resources there. And we can see with some of those indicated resources, particularly around Montague, they've got good grade. They're strategically important moving forward. So at Montague, we built it up to now just over 160,000 ounces, including just under 70,000 ounces at 4 grams per tonne indicated, which is a key asset for the company to have. It's on a granted mining lease, having previously been mined by Herald Resources back in 1989. We've done some initial metallurgical test work, which shows that it's free milling. It's great for traditional cyanide extraction, and there's really a lot of scope there to keep growing this resource. We haven't finished yet. It's both open at depth and along strike, but importantly, some of the work we did last year showed that this gold mineralisation in the granodiorite, which historically hasn't been explored, is persistent, and it's really prevalent, both under the existing resource and along strike. So there's a lot of scope there to add more ounces to Montague, exploring this granodiorite hosted mineralisation. Evermore, this is one of these new discoveries we made in late 2020. This was built on our understanding that we developed at Montague Boulder and what was going on there. And we continued to explore along strike of Montague, and that image there really shows Evermore and where it sits. So we kept exploring along the margin of the granodiorite, that pink rock in the aerial photo there, around to the north, around towards our Whistler deposit, which is another key resource for us. And we got onto this mineralisation at Evermore. And again, it's near surface. There's some great grades in some of the drilling that we've had there in the past, but not only that, we haven't finished. It's still open to the north. We did some RC work after the resource calculation was commenced, and we got some good mineralisation there to the north. That intersection there in the granodiorite around the nose of the granodiorite towards Whistler, that's key, and we're going to be following up on that this year. Really, if we can continue to extend that mineralisation around, there's a potential to open up this northwest margin, as we call it. So you can see here at our other new resources at Achilles. So this is a long strike of a historic pit called Rosie, which was mined in 1990 by Herald. Continued work done by Gateway, just continued to extend this mineralisation along strike. It's all shallow oxide zone mineralisation, and you can see from some of those drill results there, we've got intersections, solid intersections from almost at surface. So this is just sitting there, and it's easy to exploit when the time comes. Again, it's on a granted mining lease. So far, we've extended it about 500 metres north of that old pit at Rosie, and it's still open. So further work this year, later in the year, to keep extending that resource along strike up towards that other little pit there. We can see Caledonian Northeast. Continue to grow this resource And really, as I mentioned with Evermore, but some of this mineralisation in the granodiorite, you can see in that image, we've only just begun to understand how it works and how it fits into the scheme of things. So there's a lot of potential there to keep finding more gold at Killies in this area. But really the key for the company going forward, and this is really where we're excited, is these new discoveries which we've got to work on, and we've done a bit of work to show exactly how important they are. So these are all still within 5 kilometres of our existing resources. That's important. We're not talking about these resources being scattered over the whole project. They're all basically in a cluster together, and they all complement each other, and that's a key attribute moving forward. So Julia's, this is some work, building on some work that was done by Gateway all the way back in 2008. Again, a lot of it's located on a granted mining lease already. Again, this is a key thing we've got with this project. But this is an oxide deposit. It's shallow, sort of 25, 30 metres below surface, and it's good grades. You can see some of those intersections we released just after Christmas in the New Year period. Solid mineralisation, high 2s, 3 gram per tonne. Not only that, we've shown with some air core drilling we did last year that it keeps going to the south. So we've now got this zone identified over about 1.2 kilometres, and it's still open to the northeast there. So we're going to continue to do work on Julia's this year, both extending this zone along strike and following up with the RC rig as well. And we're fairly confident this is going to be our next resource area for the company, which we'll work on throughout the year. Cashmere, another exciting target for us. This is on the eastern side of the granodiorite, and that's important because historically not really much exploration at all has been done on this eastern margin. There's the Howard's deposit just off the south of our tenement there, which is owned by Horizon Gold. But apart from that, Howard's, really no work's been done on the eastern side. And we have done a lot of soil sampling up here. We identified Cashmere as a target. We did some initial RC drilling back late 2019, showed there was some high-grade mineralisation, and we followed up on this late last year with some RC drilling. And we can see from some of those intersections that we received, this is really exciting. We've identified the continuation of this Howard's trend onto our ground, and we can see from the geophysics that we have, the geophysical data set, that trend continues. It's a fairly distinct trend, and we've got another kilometre or so of strike to keep testing there of Cashmere, and that's another key target for us going into this year. Monarch, this is our third exciting advanced target we've got, which we'll be doing a lot of work on this year. So this is a new target just further east of Cashmere. Slightly different rock package out there, but there's extensive underground mining carried out there in the early 20th century, with really no exploration done since then. So there was some shallow RC drilling done by Herald in 1985, which intersected mineralisation near surface, but nothing else has been done, which is extraordinary. So we went out there and did some soil sampling. You can see that image there. It's a huge anomaly we've identified over nearly 6 kilometres. The guys, when they're out in the field, they also took rock chip samples of outcropping quartz veining. You can see there's high-grade gold there, nearly 19 grams per tonne at surface. And we're really excited. We're going to get out there with the drill rig in this current program we've got underway. And we're going to be doing some drilling both around that key anomaly and then also extending it further to the south. So this is a great target for us, and we're really excited about this going forward. So beyond this target, this next step that we can see in terms of building on that resource growth and really adding to the picture in the short to medium term, there's a bigger picture here at Gidgee. We do have a strategic land package, and it's in a key part of WA. So coming up, we've got, as Nicholas mentioned earlier, about 60,000 metres of drilling plans, and we're about to just kick that drilling off now. The guys are up on site. They're getting everything ready. The rig's turning up at the end of this week. So we'll be working there at Julia's, working there at Cashmere, doing some initial drilling at Monarch. This is really exciting work for the company, and this is all underway. But there's plenty of drilling budgeted for the rest of the year, and really what we're working towards is to continue to test these targets within 5 kilometres of our mineral resources. Keep adding to this inventory in the medium term to build a critical mass here at Gidgee. Beyond that, we're still continuing in the background to build the pipeline. We know we've got a great land package in a belt that's well endowed with gold, and historically, for one reason or another, has been been ignored by previous explorers, and we've got a great opportunity here to keep exploring and developing these other targets. So, where we've been looking at around the Montague Granodiorite there, that's that little dark coloured square around number 4. But beyond that, we've got plenty of ground to explore and plenty of targets to develop over the years. So not only have we got a great work program planned for this year, but beyond that, there's a pipeline of targets to get on with and really over the long term. So in summary, what we can see coming up with Gateway itself, we are the Gidgee Gold Project. It's a great project, 1,000 square kilometres in a key part of WA. Really, gold exploration. The WA goldfields are where you want to be for a number of different reasons. We've got a lot of work coming up. There's a lot of news flow, and really not only news flow, but real results coming to keep adding to that strong resource foundation that we've now established of just under 450,000 ounces. And we can really see now on the horizon how we're going to add to that, keep adding to that over time, and really build towards that million ounce target that we've been talking about. And really importantly, we're talking about shallow resources. We're not talking about really deep remnants around a lot of extensive old mining. These are new deposits. They're all within the top 100 metres. A lot of them are oxide mineralisation. So strategically, this is fantastic for the company, and where we sit in the district, this really is a key asset for us. And we've got the team in place to do it. We've been involved in a lot of discoveries in the past, developing gold mines, developing companies. And that's experience that's really important to be able to take Gateway forward and capitalise on this project and the work that we've got planned. So thanks for listening in, and Nicholas, I'm happy to take any questions that may have come through.
Thanks very much, Mark. Great punchy presentation. Just a reminder to everyone listening, please use the Q&A tab to fire your questions in, and I'll make sure that I put all of them to Mark. We'll kick off with the first one here. Mark, we've got a question from an investor who says, assuming similar grades and the current gold price, what additional ounces does Gateway need, in your view, to become a miner and a gold producer?
Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Well, that's always an interesting question to get, and obviously, a lot of variables go into it, but we've always said over time, what we see at Gidgee, we're aiming to establish a standalone gold operation, if you like. And traditionally, if you look at what WA sort of works from that point of view, you're looking at around 100,000 ounces a year is really what you need to make a good gold operation. So if we work back from there, and to build a new operation, you're looking around about 7 years of reserves. So that's 700,000 ounces. And if you work that back to resources, then if you assume a 70% conversion of your resources to reserves, you're at about that million ounce mark. So really for us, that's our target in terms of trying to build that inventory to have a sustainable gold operation. That's what we see as what we think we need. And that's not to say that's not locked in stone. So we're obviously always evaluating and looking at things from gold price point of view and other opportunities that may come up. But if we're talking about a standalone resource into a standalone operation, that's sort of the metrics that we're looking at.
Thanks, Mark. A number of shareholders and people close to the company have put to me, and I'd like to put to you, that given that you've now been working at Gidgee for a number of years, do you feel that you've, and I hate to use the phrase, but do you feel that you've cracked the code, and that you have a better handle on where the gold is moving forward?
Oh, absolutely we do. And that was really, I suppose, the encouragement that we took out of that resource upgrade last year, is that those new discoveries that we've made, that's really building on the knowledge that we have of the mineralisation and the controls on mineralisation in the belt, and able to translate that through to drill success and resources on the books. So we really do feel that from a technical point of view, we've really got a handle on things. Not completely, there's always things to learn, but we definitely have a much more solid understanding of the controls there, and we're using that to move forward. We're exploring for new deposits, we're finding them, we're hopefully bringing them to account. So definitely we have that confidence. Excellent,
thanks, Mark. Look, you did mention early in your presentation, I think, that the million ounce target was something that was in your mind. I know we can't talk about exploration targets, but is that broadly do you see that potential within the prospects that you've already delineated, and how quickly could you get there?
Yeah, well, definitely the potential is there, and you can see that from the work that we've done over the last sort of 18 months or so. We're now just shy of 500,000 ounces, and really, if you look at the size of the deposits there and in terms of their tenor, really we continue to see the opportunity to keep bolting on these additional resources in that 5 kilometre radius, and like the work we're doing now with these new targets. We've got them there. We've just got to put the holes in the ground and evaluate them. But in terms of the resource growth, we can see the stepping stones in place there to get towards that 1 million ounces, as we talked about in terms of standalone operations and the like, and that's our ultimate aim. We can sort of see that opportunity. As for timing, that's a difficult one. If I knew it for certain, that'd be great. But obviously, we can see within this next 12 months that the work we do is going to add to that existing resource base. We'll get that work done. Hopefully, we are pleasantly surprised, and then we can keep working towards that 1 million ounce target, and that's our ultimate aim.
Thanks, Mark. A number of investors have asked, one of the key issues in this sector at the moment is capacity constraints getting hold of drill rigs, and particularly assay turnaround. Are you able to give us some insights into how you're managing those issues? They can have a huge impact on news flow. Is there a strategy in place that allows you to mitigate some of those challenges? Yeah, look, that's quite well documented. Some of the capacity constraints, as you mentioned, and Gateway has been affected in the past, and as have a number of companies, and we do what we can. But I guess from a drilling point of view, one of the things that we really build on are key relationships with drill contractors. We've been fairly stable with the contractors we've used, not just last year, but also the last couple of years, and being able to draw on that relationship is key. We keep our contractors informed as to our plans, and then because there's that existing relationship in place, they tend to be able to accommodate us, which has really meant that we haven't been held up from that point of view too much. When it comes to the assay turnaround problem, and that sort of really just got worse and worse last year, we're looking at ways of different sort of contract structures with some of the assay labs, trying to find sort of more creative ways of getting more stable turnaround, if you like. I don't think we're going to be able to go back to the days of 2 weeks turnaround on assays. That's not in the foreseeable future, but definitely trying to accelerate the turnaround as best we can, and not only that, to remove the surprises that some people get when all of a sudden assays just keep dragging on. And so we're looking at different sort of contract structures there to try and maximise that our ability to do that. And staffing, we've got good technical staff in the company, good exploration manager and senior geologists who are really keen and motivated and technically very, very astute. So that's great to have in-house, and then we have sort of key external labour hire that we use. And again, keeping those relationships that we've had over a long period of time has helped us to maintain a steady flow of people into the project when we need them. Thanks, Mark. Related question, but given those delays, how confident are you of being able to provide a resource update in Q3 of this year? Fairly confident, I guess, and I'll put a caveat on that. But it's a new year and we're just getting underway, so we're banking on what we experienced last year. But look, the COVID situation in WA, how it is, that's always something that's hanging there, and I can't really control that and how that's going to impact our company. But definitely, we see the ability with the programs we've got planned and the targets we have that should we just be able to execute our programs that we've got, that we'll be able to meet that timeline. You sort of,
these days at the moment, you can never be 100% certain, but definitely we're quietly confident that we can do it.
Great. A couple of corporate questions, Mark. Firstly, an investor said that given that the number of shares on issue is now relatively high, have you given any consideration to a capital consolidation?
Look, it's something we talk about quite often. Obviously, we're very aware of the number of shares on issue, and it's there's sort of competing schools of thought as to when to do such a consolidation. So obviously, we'd like to do it. I guess the issue is the right time, and you really need the company going through the right sort of change in its status to complement that consolidation. So it's something we're aware of. We don't want to do it the wrong time and to be a negative for the company. So really, what we're doing is continuously evaluating that potential, that opportunity, and because we can see what's going on, and we it's not how we want it to be in the long term. But at the moment, there's no immediate plans. No.
Just a question on the investment portfolio, Mark. You've got a number of listed investments. I think the value is around 1.8 million from memory from your corporate slide. Can you run us through what those are? Yeah,
so the main, there's a few there, but the main two that we have is we've got a major investment in Strickland Resources. And that was through the divestment of a series of tenements in the Bryah Basin a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. So that's a big part of that portfolio, as well as another rather large chunk of shares in Discovex. And that's been, one of the companies really taken a bit of a tear the last few weeks on the back of Carnaby Resources over in Queensland. So we have a pretty significant shareholding in Discovex, and that's obviously what's going on with them is beneficial for Gateway shareholders as well.
Absolutely, exciting discovery over there by the looks of it. Sorry to jump around, but just another back to the geology and the project. We've seen with other WA gold projects where the margins of the granodiorite are very prospective for large gold systems, particularly King of the Hills, I think, where they had some big breakthroughs in recent years. Is Gidgee similar to that, and do you see similar potential along that margin?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Gidgee, from a technical point of view, is a very similar sort of system, if you like. And a lot of our deposits we have at the moment do sit on that margin. It just sort of shows how prospective it is. And so there's sort of two answers to that question. The first is that we are continuing to explore it up around that northwestern quadrant where a lot of our resources sit at present, and that drill intercept that we've got north of Evermore around towards Whistler at 21 metres at 1.7. That's really highlighting how much gold there still is to be found in the granodiorite, as well as I mentioned about some of the intersections under the Montague Boulder resource in the granodiorite. So there's a lot more gold to be found there. It's a very prospective area, that collision zone up there, if you like, with the main structures. But the other side of that is also on the eastern side of the granodiorite. So Howard's is there. The work we're doing at Cashmere is really showing, from that target point of view, there's a lot of prospectivity, but the rest of that eastern margin hasn't been explored. It's been traditionally ignored by the historical exploration that's been carried out, and there's other old workings from the early 20th century that are there. The gold's there. We're showing that at Cashmere, and the potential of that eastern margin is huge. So that's another side of it. So we do see that edge of that granodiorite is really a key feature in the area, and a key position that concentrates a lot of gold mineralisation.
Thanks, Mark. I think we've dealt with all of the online questions. I might just ask one more just to wrap things up. Given that you're working towards a Q3, I guess, resource update, maybe if you could just step us through. You have started drilling, I believe, or about to. What does the news flow look like in, let's say, the next 3 to 6 months? And why is this going to be such an exciting ride for shareholders?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, the guys have mobilised the field. They're up there now. The drill rig's turning up. Well, actually, Thursday today, so it's turning up tomorrow. So we'll be getting going in the next few days. Initially, we're going to be doing a lot of drilling extending the Julia's trend. So there's a great opportunity off to the northeast there to keep drilling it along strike, and we've already established mineralisation over about 1.2 kilometres, but we can see there, there's easily another kilometre there to be explored where there hasn't been any drill holes put into it previously. So that's a really exciting target for us, the solid near surface oxide mineralisation there at Julia's. We're also got the RC rig coming in March, and that's going to be doing a lot of work both at Julia's as well. So we'll be doing some initial sort of more sort of systematic pattern drilling, if you like, over that established mineralisation, and that will work towards a maiden mineral resource calculation later on. We're going to be doing a lot more work at Cashmere as well with the RC rig, and then also at Monarch. So over the next, we're going to be drilling solid pretty much for the next 4 months or so. So that news flow coming out of those key target areas is going to be, once the assays start coming back from the lab, we're going to have a sort of a steady stream of results coming through for shareholders.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Mark. That wraps things up for this presentation. As you can see, lots to look forward to for Gateway. It's going to be a big year. Just a reminder that a recording of this webinar will be available on YouTube and also through the Gateway social media platforms a bit later on today, and through our normal Resources Rising Stars channels. And Mark, I believe, is presenting at the Explorers Conference in Fremantle next Thursday morning, I think, at 9 o'clock. So anyone who's attending that event, please go and catch up with him and the Gateway team at the booth and have a listen to his presentation on Thursday morning. Mark, thanks very much for your time, and thank you to everyone for tuning in this morning and for your questions. Have a great day.
Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks, everyone else. Thank you.